When you first start working on a game, what's the first thing that you think of? Do you maybe think of the game's genre? Do you think of the game's plot? Or maybe you imagine combining two different games to make your dream game. These are all good approaches, but I found that the best way to start planning a game is to first think of a specific feeling that you want the player to experience. Because if you rip games down to their most basic level, that's all games are really meant to do: deliver a specific experience or feeling to the player. Let's look at some examples of what I mean. Minecraft. Minecraft isn't fun because you like clicking a button and watching a block appear. It's fun because Minecraft is a sort of creative outlet for players. You're able to turn a chaotic world into a sort of art form. The game makes you feel creative, it gives you a sense of exploration, it makes you feel powerful, and that's why it's fun. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's isn't fun because you just look at robots through a camera. It's fun because it makes you feel tense and scared. You think that you're about to die from the animatronics, but then it suddenly just turns 6 a.m. and you survive. And all that tension pays off. That's what makes these games fun. These games are successful because they're focused. Every mechanic and feature is meant to make you feel something specific. And that's where funnel design comes in. Funnel design is a framework that I use to turn feelings into actual gameplay. I'll walk you through the process and use my latest game, Airheaded, as an example. So, funnel design comes in two steps. Step one is pick a fun feeling. A fun feeling is the reason why your game is fun. Going back to my previous examples, Minecraft's fun feelings are probably creativity and exploration. These are the main feelings the game focuses on in order to be engaging and fun. Meanwhile, Five Nights at Freddy's focuses on fear and rising tension. Decide what kind of fun you want your game to give the player. For Airheaded, I picked tension as the game's fun feeling. I want the players to feel on edge, thinking that any moment in the game could be their last. Now for step two, is basically go down the funnel, which means narrowing down the details of how you'll give this fun feeling to the player. Using Airheaded as an example, I took this broad feeling of tension and asked myself, what makes games tense? My answer, losing HP. It's a universal fear in pretty much every game. So I decided that the game would be centered around HP loss. Then I moved down the funnel and went to the next step. How could I make HP loss personal and tense? My answer, make HP loss a result of the player's actions. Basically, the actions that the player takes should directly cause them to lose HP. But what happens if the player just chooses not to do whatever this HP draining action is? So I decided that this HP draining action would need to be something essential to the game. If you don't do it, you don't win. After some thought, I decided on movement. Airheaded is a game about navigating obstacle courses, so you obviously need to move to win. So movement would cause HP loss. And now we already have a pretty interesting premise. You need to move to win, but moving too much kills you. The game's whole premise is built on a paradox, but I needed even more layers of tension. I decided to make the movement physics-based and clumsy. Now every movement was a gamble. And finally, I added yet another layer of tension. I designed levels so that you need to move for long stretches of time, which drains your HP even more. So, in summary, the final gameplay loop is navigate obstacle courses, but movement is clumsy and unpredictable and also drains HP. On top of that, levels demand sustained movement. Now players will constantly feel like they're on the edge of failure. That's exactly the kind of emotional experience that I wanted to give them. So here's it. So that's basically a summary of what funnel design is, taking a vague general feeling and narrowing it down into actual gameplay mechanics. Funnel design works. I've had a lot of my playtesters, even ones that I didn't know personally who I sent the game to, tell me that the game did feel tense and put them on edge. Now there's technically a third step, but in reality, step three is just repeating step one and two all over again. You might only have to do a few repetitions, or maybe even hundreds. The key is to continually ask yourself, does this mechanic reinforce the fun feeling that I said at the beginning? If it does, you're on the right track.